Alrighty, boys and girls, the ice is ready on a new episode of the Empty Netters podcast, and boy, howdy, is it a doozy.
Yeah, it sure is.
Let's get right into the big news. One of our white whales joins the pod. Wow. The legend himself, Jeremy Roenick, JR, on this episode of the Empty Netters
podcast. I can't believe it.
I'm so pumped, dude. I've been hunting JR. I finally found an opening. He finally peeked above the water,
to get a little air.
And I fired my harpoon.
Yep.
And I reeled him in.
And he said, don't shoot at me. All I had to do was ask.
All he had to do was ask, dude.
And I said, I'm so sorry.
And here we are. Cannot wait.
We went straight to the hospital, got that all patched up. And now he's ready to come on.
He's all healthy and gracing us with his presence.
Yep.
Can't wait for that. But before we do, I want to do a little No Bucky warm-ups.
Yeah, a little new segment.
Let's get warmed up here. Had a move this weekend. Curious what you guys think. It was our buddy's birthday this weekend. Went out, did a little day hanging, stuff like that. To be perfectly honest, was a little under the weather last week, so I was kind of licking my wounds a little bit. Knew I didn't have a full shift in me, so I needed a break. I needed to step away for a minute and then come back to the hang. I did that. Uber's the worst these days.
It's the most, that and airlines are the two most broken systems in this country.
It's so insane how shit Uber is now. They charge way too much money, and the strategic surges are so annoying. If you're in a high populated area, they jack those prices way up.
Also, they don't come pick you up.
No. Okay.
You go, hey,
Christopher,
Uber request, and
perfect
they go,
transition into my point. So we're in a high populated area down in Venice. I open up Uber. I'm going about 15 minutes down the road. It was $70. So I said, kick rocks, Uber, and I walked a ways away. Found myself in a new area, opened up Uber, it was only $20. But then I hit request ride, and it says, your driver will be here in 20 minutes. So I popped into a bar right where I was, ordered a glass of rosé, and I sat there, and the waiter came up, or the bartender came up to me, and he went, you would like to see a menu? I said, no, I'm waiting for an Uber. And he went, nice move. And I sat there alone, I scrolled my phone, gassed a glass of rosé, took that final sip, your Uber has arrived, hopped in the car. What do you think about that move? When Uber's making you wait, grab a drink.
Grab a drink.
I can't relate. You know me. Don't drink. Yeah.
That's true. What if you went in and grabbed a sushi roll somewhere?
Or Dr. Pepper.
Grab a burger.
I love a good DP, not you. I do love you, but...
Jesus Christ. You love multiple DPs.
Yeah, lots of DPs. Even another one.
There's others.
Yeah, there's others. There's others.
I think that's a move. Go in, get a cold pop.
Yeah, refreshing. Yeah.
I like it, but what I don't like about it, I like how you salvaged a situation. What I don't like is it's making it more acceptable to have to wait 20 minutes for an Uber. Like, I don't want to create institutions that allow, or I don't want to create situations that allow an institution like Uber to ruin my life.
Yeah. I don't think it's ruining your life.
It is, though. It is.
It's getting more expensive.
And time is inelastic, and it's taking up my time.
I made a good time out of a bad time.
Yeah, you did, and I like that a lot.
That's all I'm saying. Speaking of drinks, another lap in this warm-up. Let's talk about the Friday Beers beer.
Dude, finally.
Hold on, there's two things you think about when I say Friday Beers. What are they?
1, Friday.
2,
beer. Finally.
Makes sense that we would make a beer.
Yep. Huge. Launches this Friday.
Quinky Dink?
I think not. You can get it anywhere in Boston, Worcester, and if it's not where you need it to be, hit us up.
Yeah, seriously, if you're in Boston, Worcester, and then anywhere else, and you say, hey, I'd like this beer, hit us up. We can start widening that net a little bit.
Yep.
But here's the deal. Friday Beers put a lot of tireless effort into making the most delicious beer you could ever think of. It's launching this Friday. What date? Let's do that quick math.
What
it's
day
the 13th.
Today? Oh, today.
Yeah, so in 4 days.
14th, 15th, 17th.
The 17th of November, Friday. This beer's going to be, if you're in Boston or Worcester, all over the place. We're going to keep broadening those horizons, but it's a tasty
It's
lager.
a light lager.
Yeah, light lager,
actually,
which is nice.
We actually, we've had it many times, but we got to have it when we were in Boston doing the Lucic episode.
Yeah.
And we had it in the studio before Luch got there. We're just having a few pops, getting loose.
Sat down, cracked a few beers. Weren't supposed to.
We weren't supposed to. And we're sitting there
Against the rules.
on camera drinking them. And I was like, oh, whoa. Reel it in, boys. But here's the problem.
It's too good.
It was too good. We couldn't stop.
Dude, and this is the most blasphemous thing about me in this almost Friday beer space. I'm not a beer guy.
Yeah.
I don't love beer. And I wouldn't lie to you. Every now and then I like a crispy Pilsner.
Yes.
Give me an ice cold light beer, and I actually am in heaven. If I'm eating like a burger or something,
You're good.
or at a ball game, even a hockey game, I actually like them in the stadium, in the arenas. But if you give me a cold as hell, that doesn't make sense. Crispy light beer, I'm in, and I'm being dead honest. This light lager is gas.
It's quite good, actually.
It's really good.
It tastes, I don't know if they'll be mad about this, but to me, to my very ill-informed palate, it kind of tasted like a Belgian wheat-y.
Yeah, it tastes like cream soda to me.
Yeah, and I love those beers. So I was like, oh, dude, we did it. We are money. Yeah.
Tastes like an IBC cream
I think
soda.
maybe this beer tastes like however you want it to taste.
That'd be kind of cool.
I think that might have been what they cooked up.
Maybe that's what we do.
Because I feel like to you it tasted like a cold Pilsner. To me, it tasted like a Belgian wheat.
Yeah.
They might have cooked up something serious.
It's unbelievable.
But to taste like a Dr. Pepper to Brian.
But yeah, if you're in the Boston, Worcester area this Friday, the Almost Friday beer is going to be everywhere. Give it a try. You will not regret it. Last lap of this warm-up, I want to talk about the Global Series. Actually, before I talk about the Global Series,
2 more laps.
I want to talk about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I quickly noted. Hank gets into the Hall of Fame over the weekend. It was lovely to see. The man is as handsome as ever.
And he laced him up.
Then I saw today,
Old-timers game.
we're obviously looking to the 2024 Hockey Hall of Fame candidates. Here are a few names that popped up. Ready for these?
Mm-hmm.
Knee-jerk reactions. Patrick Marleau.
First ballot or in at all?
In it all.
Yes.
Ilya Kovalchuk.
Yes.
I actually think he might run into trouble, but I
Me
think he should.
too.
Ryan Miller.
Yes. A lot of wins on that boy.
Pavel Datsyuk.
Yeah, come on.
Moving
Next
on.
question.
Pekka Rinne.
Yes.
He's got a statue.
He's got a
He's got his,
statue.
he's got his number retired. And come on. Shea Weber.
No. No.
It's tough. He has 1,000 games and 589 points for a D-man.
He's
That's
nice,
pretty solid.
but everyone's got 1,000 games these days.
I know.
My neighbor's got
I
1,000
know.
games.
A lot
Yeah.
of people got 1,000 games. But that's a stacked class.
That's sick. And there's there's lingerers from previous classes. I think Getzlaf's lingering. You know, there's guys that are trying to get in still.
Led by Pav.
Oh, yeah. My God. My
I
God.
love him. I love
He's
him.
such a beautiful man.
Hall of Fame's amazing, but just stick taps to Hank.
Mm-hmm.
But then also seeing that class, I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Marlowe, Kovalchuk, and
Unbelievable.
Datsyuk.
Unbelievable.
I mean, good Lord. And then obviously Rene and Miller and Shea. Wild stuff. Talk to me about the Global Series.
Global Series this week, November 16th to the 19th in Sweden.
Yeah.
Going to be sick, dude. All over NHL.com, teams are already talking about it, practicing there, what it's like there. The locals, all the teams that have Swedish guys are fired up. They're playing tour guide, the whole thing.
Yeah.
The lineup looks like this. Thursday, Wings versus the Senators. Friday, Leafs versus the Wings. Saturday, Wild versus the Senators. Sunday, Leafs versus the Wild. Great slate of games for the fans over there. Spread the game. What I wanted to ask you.
Wings, Wild, Leafs, Sens.
Oh, the 4 teams, yes. The Wings, the Wild, the Senators, the Leafs.
2 Canadian, 2 American. I like that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And let's see, some pretty sick jerseys. Ottawa Blacks, Wings both, Leafs both, Wild.
I like the Wild jersey.
I actually kind of do too.
I love that forest
Yep.
green.
Yep.
It's unique. There's no other team that has that green.
Yep. So they're seeing some pretty cool sweaters.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of chatter already from players, assistant coaches, whatever, who have done trips like this, that they're like, dude, this is where the team really comes together. Lucic, dude, bringing up that episode again, he said that year that they won the cup, when we asked him, they started that season in Prague, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And he was like, it just set the tone for the whole year for the boys. No distractions, just with the fellas. I really think this is going to have a massively positive impact on all 4 of these teams.
I completely agree.
Because of that.
Let me tell you what, dude. This is sleepaway camp.
Yes.
Road trips and sleepaway camps forge lifelong bonds.
Yeah.
You need more of them. I can't believe that not every single team every year at the beginning of the year doesn't do some sort of sleepaway camp.
Agree.
LA went to Australia with the Yotes.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's look at the Yotes. Look at LA.
The proof is in the pudding.
You gotta get the boys together, sleeping in bunk beds, sleeping in hotel rooms together, just hanging out on the road all the time. You're just gonna bond. It's a no-brainer.
What I don't think, and the Yotes are actually kind of proving this maybe wrong. What I don't think is sleepaway camp is the cure-all, and I don't think the Sharks could go to sleepaway camp right now and come back and be contenders.
I think if the Sharks went to a sleepaway camp, came back, they'd win 3 of 5.
Oh, okay. And I think the Yotes
Does it last forever?
Nope.
No. Gives you some juice.
Yep. But I do think that sleepaway camp can take a contender and make them the real deal.
Yeah, dude. You know who needs to go to sleepaway camp right now?
Who?
The Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, dude.
If I were Knobloch,
That'd be my first order of business.
perfect little transition here. If I were Knobloch, my first order of business would be taking the boys to a sleepaway camp.
Yeah.
Just a quick getaway.
Oh, dude, they need something.
Let's talk about it.
This is hot ice. This is some of the hotter ice we've had.
We are into hot ice, and the hottest ice right now is over the weekend, Jay Woodcroft fired by the Edmonton Oilers.
Canned, gassed.
New coach
Good
Chris
day.
Knobloch, Connor McDavid's old Erie Otters coach, has been given the job. He was the coach of the Hartford Wolfpack. He is now the head coach of the Oilers. Let's talk, dude. Let's talk. Give us some info on Woodcroft.
Woodcroft in 133 regular season games.
Yeah.
He was 79, 41, and 13.
Good record.
Good record. He was 14 and 14 in the playoffs, which is not like the best record, but the playoffs are hard.
You've won playoff series.
Yeah. The Oilers made the playoffs in each of the past 2 seasons, but were eliminated by the eventual Stanley Cup champion each time. They were swept by the Avs, and then they lost in 6 to Vegas. You wanted to pose this question.
Did
Yeah.
Woodcroft deserve this?
For me, dude, no. And here's my issue. I don't think, and I want to begin this entire segment with, we don't know shit about what's going on behind closed doors in the locker room.
And in fact, McDavid was interviewed today and was asked if Woodcroft lost the locker room, if they knew this was coming. He was like, no, he did not lose the locker room at all. So it sounds like from the players, there was no disconnect with Woodcroft and the boys. This was a organization decision.
Yep.
That was like, listen, we are 3-9-1. We've got to change things up here. So it's good to hear that. Jay will find a new job.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, for sure.
He might find a new job this year. We did some hockey talk over the weekend, and a lot of people asked great questions of, is this the coach's fault? Dude, sometimes it feels like coaches get dismissed when they don't deserve it. I remember when Claude Julien was fired by the Bruins. More specifically, when Bruce Cassidy was fired by the Bruins.
Yep.
It felt like Jesus, dude. I don't know if he was the fall guy here. Unfortunately, firing the coach is the easiest thing to do. That's what fans need to understand. It is easier than making a big trade. It's easier than, in my opinion, removing the GM or the president. It is the easiest axe to swing. Did Jay deserve to get fired? I agree with you. No. However, I do think this had to happen. You cannot be this Edmonton Oilers team, who was the best team last year for the second half of the season. Better than the Bruins. Mm-hmm. You crunch those numbers.
Yeah.
Math guy CP. You came into the season and every single book had them as a top 3 team to be a favorite for the Cup. And you start this bad, and your big guys are going, by their standards, are going as slow as they are. Something's got to give. And unfortunately, like I said, that is the easiest one. And this had to happen.
The coach firing is the easiest. You're spot on with that. Here's where my pushback. Julian's a perfect example. Cassidy and I'm not spreading rumors or anything, but we've said this on the pod, we'd heard some stuff about some players in Boston maybe weren't aligned with his philosophy or whatever.
Dude, we're big Butch guys. This is
he's the man.
We're not ruffling feathers by saying this. Butch is a hard guy to play for.
Yep.
Everyone who's ever played for him will admit that. He's a tough as nails dude. He is not afraid to give it to any player in the locker room, and some guys don't vibe with that.
So if he I didn't want him to get fired, but people were, if the management felt like we need him to go because of what the team wants and needs, then so be it. The Julian thing, and I liked Claude a lot too. Claude Julian, very simply, and I passionately believe this happens in pro sports, just ran into we need a new voice. It's not, you didn't lose the locker room. You don't have bad philosophies. We just need a new culture change. You need to pick me up. And that happens. And those I can excuse and accept and forgive because you're like, I shake his hand on the way out. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. We just needed a new POV in here.
Yep.
For me, Woodcroft has not been there long enough to justify a new voice. It's 3 seasons, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And if he didn't lose the locker room, which that's what Connor said, we don't know anything. Maybe he did, and Connor's just being nice on the way out. If he didn't lose the locker room, you are not in his speech is tired, we need a new voice right now. You are off to a humiliating start.
Awful.
Humiliating, horrific start, and you are
Awful.
clowns. If it's me, I let the boys and Woodcroft pull their way out of this. The fear is if you wait another month and a half and they still haven't, you're now completely fucked because even a new voice isn't going to get you back into the playoffs. But there has just been nothing put on paper by this roster or the roster of the last couple of years and Woodcroft at the head of it that has said they can't. Like they've been good. He showed up and they've been good. They're in a humiliating rut, but I'm like, don't you have the answer in-house here? Like it was such a quick trigger, dude. I cannot believe it.
I don't think it was a quick trigger. I don't think it was. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous to say because I just said they're 3-9-1, so you're 13 games, 14 games,
and that's a big enough to them. Like this is bad. That's fucking bad. Yeah,
like this. We were making jokes. Is Jay on the hot seat? 4 games ago.
Yeah,
and they're 1-3 in those next 4 games, and I'm kind of like, you can't let this go on much longer. Let's say you let this go on for 7 more games, and you go 1-6 in those games. You are now big fucked. So. Yeah, I don't know, dude. You're so unacceptably bad for the personnel on this team that, like I said, something has to happen. I don't know if it was firing the coach.
That's all I was going to ask you. Do you think genuinely, whatever problems are ailing the Oilers right now, do you think it was coaching is why they're 3-9?
No, I don't.
Or is it fucking performance on the ice?
I don't necessarily think that, but I don't know that. And that's not a cop-out answer. It's like, these are the things that exist. You can only know this if you're part of the team.
Yep.
To me, if there were brutal injuries right now that guys were playing through and this is what was going on, you don't fire him. Because internally you go like this, dude, this is not my fault. 6 of our guys are brutally injured, yada, yada, yada. I think given the fact that he's fired, that's not the case. But we look at these Leon interviews. We look at Connor looks 10 years older.
Yeah, he's Abe
and
Lincoln.
That's not a chirp, dude. That's me showing sympathy for him.
Yeah,
these guys are pissed, dude.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, Jay gets beheaded here, and I don't think he deserves it. But if this turns things around, because you do need to pull up hard here in this Oilers team, because the trade conversations are already happening. There are tons of people having conversations about, do you trade Leon? Do you trade Connor for a goalie, for a big piece, whatever. This is now the 5th coach that Connor McDavid has had in his time with the Oilers. That is too many.
Yeah.
And dude, you said, or I think someone sent us a DM that was like, trade Connor to LA, King's Ransom Part 2. And that was, just probably a Kings fan. But I did smile thinking, if Connor got traded, that would be electric.
It would be insane.
Now, Oilers fans, I'm not saying that I want
that.
that. I'm just saying, dude, could you blame him? We are in a players' league now.
Yeah,
guys are dictating where they want to be, where they want to sign long term. And if you think Connor McDavid is just going to that guy is so fucking competitive and he is so good. If you think he is going to just sit there and be like this, it's Edmonton or nowhere and deal with whatever. If that guy misses the playoffs one more time, do you know how old he is?
No.
He's 26 years old.
Yeah. That's young.
That is so fucking young.
Yeah.
Look at Sidney Crosby right now.
Yeah.
What is he, 36? No. Yeah, 36.
Yeah.
And he is still playing at the elite level he is. All signs point to Connor doing exactly that. That's 10 years from now. So if you think right now, in like truly the beginning of his prime, I mean, he's been in his prime his entire career, but in the beginning of his prime, if you think he's just going to go, you know what, we're going to go through rough patches here. Absolutely not, dude. I think he is like, bro, fix this or I'm the fuck out. And I would not blame him at all. Dude, Edmonton Oilers are an amazing franchise, and I've got nothing but love for the people of Alberta. But let's be real. That's a tough place to play, dude. It's cold as shit. You get taxed out the ass.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with, love him or hate him, Canada media.
Yep.
Look at the questions that these guys get asked. Look at how annoyed they seem every single time they do any sort of player media, any sort of interviews. You think that he wouldn't maybe take his bags down to somewhere like Vegas, somewhere like the Panthers? It's just like these options are out there. So you better right the ship quick or you're going to lose one of the top 3 players in NHL history.
And I also think, to kind of contradict myself, I don't think Woodcroft is like this legend and you're like, you can't, what if we were wrong? What if he was going to save it? You know, it's like he's an unfortunate casualty. We can both agree with that. But you kind of convinced me in that I'm like, hey, here's one for you. This was only ever going to work if they had something to avenge. Yeah. So, like, they needed... This will actually rally the boys around... Like, they'll be like, I cannot believe we got Jay fired.
Yeah.
Because we suck. Which they do, and it's been their fault, not his, so far. But maybe this is the wake-up call, like, wow, we fucked Jay over, so like at least let's get our shit together now.
Dude, and you know what I find interesting? Can you do me a favor? Look up Nursey's numbers right now. I think he's got something like a goal and 3 assists in 13 games or something like that as a D-man. And I believe he's making $9 million a year. Brian, do me a favor. You look that up. Look up the Oilers cap space and tell me how much Darnell Nurse is making. I think he makes $9 million a year.
He's got 4 points in 13 games this year.
Okay, so I sniped that. I looked it up earlier. I'm not giving myself a plus for that one.
Fucking genius.
But we talked about Campbell, right?
Yep.
Jack Campbell's making $5 million. They just assigned him to the AHL. Mm-hmm. And now we got Nurse. Brian, $9 million a year?
Yeah, 9.25, 9.25, yeah.
9.25 a year. Nursey is a guy who is an unbelievable player, person, and ambassador for the game. But in the last 2 years, even last year when they were playing so well, people were like, he's not playing to that contract. Mm-hmm. I think the Oilers need to be more open to damage control. Dude, look at teams who have dealt with stuff like this in the past. Look at the Wild when they bought out Suter and when they bought out Parise.
Yep.
It hurts.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just need to do it. Look at Boston when they had Backus and his $6 million, and they made it work. They ate some of the contract, but they traded him auto loss to Anaheim. You need to talk to these players, maybe consider an organizational change, see if they'll waive some of their no-move clauses, and then talk to teams who could use it. Maybe you eat some of the contract, but I think they need to be more open to like, listen, dude, something's not working. We need to start moving some pieces.
Yeah.
Because while you eat some, you also free up the contract and we move on. Mm-hmm. There's a new opportunity for new players, but something needs to change here. And I'm looking at the veteran group. I think some of the veterans, they need to start being like, I don't know, man. Maybe we move someone on. I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had a 100-point year last year, first time in his career. He's been on the Oilers this entire time, right? Mm-hmm. Do I think Nuge is the problem? No.
Yeah.
But do I think maybe someone playing with Connor and Leon is going to have a really good output as well? And maybe you just move. He's got a movable contract. I think he makes $6 million a year. These are questions that you need to be very open to answer,
especially with your record. They would not be being asked if you guys were in first place.
And so this is the next thing that I wanted to bring up. I think when you look at Connor McDavid, the two guys that are compared to him more often than not is Sidney Crosby and Nathan MacKinnon. Mm-hmm. Sidney Crosby entered the league in 05-06. That year, they missed playoffs. The next year, they lost to the Sens in 5 games in the first round. The year after that, they went to the Cup and lost to the Wings in 6. Mm-hmm. Then the year after that, they went to the Cup against the Wings and won in 7. So it took Sidney Crosby 4 seasons to win a Stanley Cup. Nathan MacKinnon entered the league in 13-14. Lost in 7 in the first round of the Wild. Missed the playoffs, missed the playoffs, missed the playoffs.
Damn.
So went to the playoffs, then missed 3 years in a row. Then lost in 6 to the Preds in the first round. Lost in 7 to the Sharks in the second round. Lost in 7 to the Stars in the second round. Lost in 6 to the Knights in the second round. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Couldn't get out of the second
Nate
round.
Dogg didn't get out of the second round. Then he won the Cup in 6 against the Bolts.
Yep.
Connor McDavid entered the league in 15-16. Missed the playoffs. Lost in 7 to the Ducks in the second round. Missed the playoffs. Lost in that qualifying round to the Blackhawks. Swept by the Jets in the first round. Swept by the Avs in the conference final. Lost in 6 to the Knights in the second round last year. So, he has been further than Nate Dogg was. He has missed the playoffs the exact same amount of times as Nate Dogg. So, for Connor McDavid and Oilers fans, I think that is actually good information.
Me too. I thought this was going to... Yeah.
It's a don't fully panic situation. But I do look at the Avs and up to the last year. I look at the way they drafted, the way they built around it, and more importantly, dude, the contracts.
Yeah, right.
That, to me, is the difference. And I think Edmonton, your lesson here, if you're open to input, is I think there are changes that need to be made as far as the team and your salary cap. And that's not fucking rocket science. I'm not going, oh, look at me. But I am saying this does not feel like a situation where you go like this. Ride it out, baby. We're fine.
Yeah, they worry me. They've always worried me because they feel super top heavy, obviously. But it's hard. You need dude, winning the Cup is so fucking hard. You need incredible goaltending and opportunistic goaltending, and you need depth. And I think they're lacking in those buckets.
Yeah.
I love everything you're saying. Yes, you need to have those conversations, Edmonton. That's why I'm kind of like firing the head fucking coach didn't fix any of that. And maybe it was just the spark. Maybe that's all it needed to be. And like I said, it was an unfortunate casualty. But yeah, like those issues are in my opinion, were much more pressing than the fucking head coach. So it'll be interesting to see if they turn it around. And by the way, because I'm always fucking right, by the way, if they get good now, I'm not even sure I'll declare it was because of the head coaching change. Because I'm like, they might have just got hot anyway, or they might have not even been hot. They might have just started playing to their potential anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's tricky, and I'll never know, right? Because I don't live in the multiverse. But
to me,
I don't buy that they couldn't have turned this around on their own with
with
Woodcroft.
If they start winning right now, I mean, the new coach bump is real. It
Yes,
always happens. So we're likely going to see that. The only reason I didn't feel confident in we're just going to get hot is all of their interviews, dude. They don't sound confident that things are going to get going here. Like they're just not getting the right looks or something like dude, they're losing badly. To some of these teams. And
Sharks lost.
The goalie situation is very bad. So yeah, I think that a change was necessary. I don't necessarily think this was the right change, but one was necessary, and this is what they chose. Let's go to the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And talk about a team that is as hot as has ever been in the New York Rangers. My goodness.
Wow.
So many stick taps to the Rangers. There's so much hilarious bits that goes on with us and the Rangers.
So first, let's say this. The Rangers are 11-2-1. They have the third best record in the league, which is nasty. They are dominating the Met, the very underperforming Met. Very underperforming top half of the Met. Yeah. The Rangers are dominating. You had asked me, who'd they beat, though?
So I want to go through that. This is not... We're going to get into all the positives, so Rangers fans, calm down. We're not talking shit here. But 11-2-1. Here's their season. Beat the Sabres, who are 7-7-1. Lost to the Jackets, who are 4-7-4. Beat Arizona, who is 7-6-1. Lost to the Preds, who are 5-9. Beat the Kraken, who are 5-7-3. Beat the Flames, who are 4-8-2. Beat Edmonton, who's 3-9-1. OT win against the Canucks, who are 11-3-1. OT win against the Jets, who are 7-5-2. Beat Carolina, who's 9-6. Lost to the Wild, who are 5-8-2. Beat the Wings, who are 8-5-2. Beat the Wild, who are 5-8-2. Beat the Jackets, who are 4-7-4. So I think 4 of those, is that right? 4 of those 11 wins are against above 500 teams.
Yes, but and that is a fact. I can't argue.
I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying facts because I'm going to get into what I'm very excited about this Rangers team.
But I will say this, to me, the Sabres win. Like, Sabres are 7-7, but I'm like, the Sabres are fucking good.
Yep, and they whacked them.
And that's a good win. Carolina's actually 9-6, so that one counted anyway, but like, Carolina is good. I know they had a slow start, but like, that is a fucking meaningful win.
They are very underperforming, but that is a meaningful win and a division win.
Yep, Canucks win, sick, obviously. And even this one, we just talked about it, but like, Edmonton win. I'm like, that's a good win. Like, you beat the Oilers and Connor McDavid.
I don't think we're allowed to say that's a good win when they just lost to the Sharks.
So I hear you, but most importantly, and by the way, based on their losses to the fucking Preds and the Wild, like, it is not easy. Wins don't come easy in this league. A win is a win is a win is a win is a win.
Win is a win is a win is a win. Absolutely.
So they got 11 of them.
And they have the third best record in the league, and they're fucking hot. And what I love about the Rangers right now is their gritty wins, dude.
Yeah.
Like last night against the Blue Jackets, who are 4-7-4. There's great talent on that Blue Jackets team, and you were losing, and you scored with 11 seconds left. And who scored?
Laffy. Let's talk about Laffy.
Let's talk about Alexi Lafreniere.
2 tucks last night. We're recording on Monday. 2 tucks last night, including the shootout, plus the shootout winner.
Which was putrid.
Putrid. Shout out Laz, dude, because I'm watching that replay all the time. I don't know why Laffy wouldn't. 7 goals.
Dude, everyone in the media, everyone on Twitter, get off my fucking boy Johnny Laz's back.
Yeah.
Johnny asked Laff how many times he would watch that shootout go over, and Laff said probably 0. And some people on Twitter were like, dude, imagine a loser asking that type of question. Dude, this goes into what we always talk about. Imagine being such a hardo on Twitter that you can't have fun.
And imagine,
we're fans, dude.
What if you had Johnny's job? Wouldn't you ask?
Hell yeah.
You not have fun?
Fuck off.
Right, Laz asked Lafreniere how many times he'd watch the replay of that goal. And then someone posts that and comments, whoever this person is who asked that, take their press pass away immediately and forever. And the top comment is Laz. And he says, I don't know who it was, but I have, or what did he say?
He goes, I had no clue, but I agree.
Yeah, I don't know who it was, but I agree.
It's classic. Instagram commenters are a different breed of it's like stupid.
It's remarkable. But so let's get into Laz.
7 goals, 4 assists, 11 points in 14 games. He's playing on the second line with Trocheck and Breadman, getting top 6 minutes like everyone's been asking.
So here's what I want to say. I've had so many conversations about this. We obviously had our funny big jump moment in the preview. Mm-hmm. What people forget about that clip is we said we want Laffy to be good.
Yep.
And by the way, it was Laffy and Kakko.
Yeah,
so Rangers fans, you're going to have that conversation.
Yeah.
We want him to be good. We were laughing at every year Rangers fans going, it's happening. It's happening
This is
now.
the big jump year.
But here it is, dude. The Rangers have been good for several years.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And it is very hard for a number 1 overall pick with that pressure in a market like the Rangers to immediately be a difference maker on that team. Mm-hmm. When you're Connor Bedard and you go on the Chicago team who has the grocery bagger playing on the third line, it's easier to be an immediate difference maker. When Laffy is going up against guys like Chris Kreider, Artemi Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, trying to get top 6 minutes, and not to mention all those other guys like Trocheck, who are really good players who are also in the running to be like, and Hedl too.
Yeah.
It's hard to get top 6 minutes. To me, last year felt like the year it should have happened. And it felt like Gallant kept going, you're playing on the second line today, but if you fuck up, you're gone.
Yep.
And that destroys a player's confidence. This year, Laviolette has come in and gone, Laffy, you are playing top 6 minutes all season long. Your leash is longer. I'm excited to see what you can do. And it has been awesome to see what that confidence for a player of his skill set can do when he knows he has the freedom to play his game. And we're seeing it right now with 11 points in 14 games. It's so awesome. And this might be what this Rangers team has been missing. It might be that thing that gets them over the hump. When you all of a sudden have a guy like Laff who's going, I'm playing to my potential now. That might be that little piece, that little extra kick that goes, you're now a Stanley Cup winning team.
Yeah, and there he's fucking so young still. So I don't even knock, as fun as it is to clown the Rangers fans who every year, this is the year for Laffy. I don't even knock them saying that because they're so young still. You know, if he was 27 and still waiting for the big jump, I'd be like, yeah, dude, it's not happening. But he's a child still.
Literally.
So I am very willing to eat crow on like, oh, this is the year Laffy makes the jump, guys. Fucking same story every season. Wrong. He made the jump, dude. He looks nasty.
But I'm not willing to eat crow because we didn't say he wasn't going to make the jump.
but it was fun to be like, okay, here we go. Yeah. Then he did it.
What I will take my medicine on is the fans. I can't make fun of you on that anymore.
Yeah.
With Laffy.
Yeah.
But you know who I can is Kakko. And you Rangers fans are very comically quiet about Kakko.
But same argument though, right? Because they're like, and no one's yelling at us about this, but they're like, he's not top 6. You can only do it when he gets top 6 minutes. And I actually will slightly push back on that argument too, because I think if Laffy was playing as well as he's playing right now last year on the third line, he would have been producing more.
And that's the confidence thing.
And they're like, but
he wasn't able to play like this because he doesn't have the mindset that he had.
Yep.
And
that's a real thing. But it annoys me when people are like, well, dude, he's only not good because he's on the third line. I'm like, that's not true, dude. Like if Laffy's as good as you guys are all claiming he is, you can put an elite winger on the third line on any team right now, and they will be pretty good because they're an elite winger.
I mean,
they'll be better in the top 6, obviously, but you can play them on the third line and they will produce.
Look at a number of these rookies right now. Matt Poitras being one of them, who has 7 points already as a third line center. It's
not impossible to produce on the third line. Is it better to be surrounded with fucking Panarin and Trocheck? Yeah, no shit. But, and again, I'm happy for the kid. I said at the beginning of this season, after week 1, I was actually on this before you. Week 1, I was like, the Rangers look re-energized. The Rangers look fucking fantastic.
You were so right.
Yeah, so I'm all aboard.
To sort of dispel the fun bit, like, I love this Rangers team. I like to clown on you fans, but I love Kreider.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest Keandre Miller fan in the world. And, dude, I tweeted this the other day. Panarin is quietly
fucking nasty,
a top 3 player in the NHL. Like in our top 100 list, we put him top 20 where he obviously belongs.
Yeah, and we had Ziba over him.
Yep,
which I don't even hate, but
I don't either because Ziba is so fucking nasty. But dude, Panarin is ridiculous.
Dude,
he's involved
his stats are crazy,
in every game.
bro.
He has a point in all 14
dude.
games they have played this season.
And his career stats are moronic.
It's ridiculous. So big ups to the Rangers right now. Not to mention they're doing this with Shesterkin out, with Foxy out.
Insane.
So those guys are going to come back. And here's a big one for me is Hedl is out. Mm-hmm. People keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
Hedl is out, and I think that's going to be a very interesting situation when he comes back, where he goes in the line.
Agreed.
I think he could go to Hedl. To me, is such a mentally tough dude.
Yeah.
He's a JT Compher for me. Plays all up and down the lineup. You can put Hedl on the first, second, third, and fourth line, and he's still going to produce. So I think it is a great problem to have for them with that. And then the last Rangers stroke job I want to do right now. Give me a little more spit so I can finish this job off. Eric Gustafsson has been such a money pickup for that. I think for them. I think in the 14 games, I think he has 10 points from the blue line. He's adding a level of toughness. He's jumping up in the rush.
Dude, that Kreider goal the other night.
Oh my God.
Play by him.
The whole play. It was
insane.
a defensive zone, neutral zone, and offensive zone, just making such a difference all over the ice. These dudes are gelling and clicking like I haven't seen them in the last 3 years. I mean, it's so early, but you could not be more happy with what you're seeing.
Go back, everybody, and watch the Kreider goal we're talking about. It was a one-timer, first goal of the game, second goal of the game. I can't remember, but you'll find it easily enough.
First goal. They went down 1-0, and then they tied it.
Dude, Wheels comes up the right wing and sends a pass back to the high slot, which goes to Gustafsson, and then he fakes a shot, slides it over to Kreider, one-timer.
Yeah.
It's Wheeler's pass. Maybe Wheeler's looking at Gustafsson too, but Wheeler's pass is Kreider's about to get it. And Gustafsson's behind him. And then last minute, Kreider picks his stick up, like dummies it, like soccer almost, and it goes to Gustafsson, which means he's seeing that play develop.
Yep.
Like, he's the one that's yelling at Kreider, leave it! Because he can tell what's about to, like, he's 2 steps ahead of the play, because you don't know who's right behind you right there, because other teams always like, leave it, drop, like, you never know. And that was all Gustafsson. I was like, damn, that was 3D chess on that goal, dude.
Just phenomenal stuff.
Fire.
But I mean, these boys are in flow state right now.
Yeah, they are, dude. It's fucking sick.
So,
and by the way, dog, you can't, I love 82 games is so funny because it's like NFL is 16 games. Every fucking game is so important. MLB, it's like whatever, dude. It's like there's 1,000 games.
Yeah.
82 games is so interesting because it's long, it's early, it's a long season. We're fine until it isn't. And we're right at that point where it's like trends are being set. Teams have established themselves. And if you're a Canes fan, if you're a Devils fan, you can bang the it's early drum all you want. But if you get too far behind the New York right now, you will not catch them. Like, you will play better all year and you can make it close. I'm sure it'll get feisty, but like, slow them down right now if you're in the Met, because they're gonna go
with the skidding Met. the Rangers look like what Vegas and Boston did last year, where they're going to get out to such a hot start that you're never going to catch them. So it's going to be a battle for second. So if you're the Rangers, keep the foot on the gas. And that is why I brought up that schedule. Maybe they really haven't played that many great, strong teams. I mean, you think about the Steel in the NHL, they haven't played any of them. But you've got Dallas and Boston coming up here in your next several games.
Big ones. Yep.
That's going to be a really fun test for Rangers fans and just NHL fans to see how these teams match up. Before we get into the Roenick interview, I want to do some over-under with you.
Okay.
And by that I mean, let's just look at where we are right now, kind of what we were just talking about. Who are some teams that you think are overperforming right now, and who are some teams that you think are underperforming? And in that I mean, maybe some teams are going to cool off coming down here, and maybe some teams are going to catch fire.
Am I going to say this team is overperforming, but they're going to cool off, or do you want me to just say, and it's fun, even if I think they're going to cool off?
Either, because I have some that I think are underperforming, and I don't know that they're gonna start. I'll start right off the bat here because I've got a little add-on to it. I think this Toronto Maple Leafs team is in trouble.
Oh shit, not me.
I think they're in trouble because they have some unreal play going on right now. Austin Matthews, Willie Nylander,
stud,
and like Mitch Marner is just so fucking unbelievable.
Yep,
dude, this is the leakiest Toronto team I've seen in years. They just give up goals, and they're 8-5-2. They're a breath away from being 8-7. Like those OT losses could have just been regular losses, and then you're like, "Holy shit, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
So, I am so rattled about them, and then my bigger thing with them is the Willie Nylander thing.
Yeah,
we're not going to waste too much time on this, but Willie Nylander, this is the picture perfect contract season.
Dude.
When you have a contract coming up and you're an elite player, this is exactly the season that you want to have. And if he stays on this pace, he is going to demand over $11 million a year, as is his right. There is no chance that they can keep him on this team with the roster. There's no I just don't believe they can tic-tac, 5 players out the door to keep him. So that means one of Morgan Rielly, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, and Willie Nylander is gone next year.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking at it from a business decision, the obvious answer would be you trade Willie now so you get something for him. But there is no way you can trade Willie.
Yep.
So I think we are staring down the barrel of this Toronto Maple Leafs team going, well, we just have to win. We have to win this
Dude,
year.
I know.
And Willie will leave for free, but if we win, it's all worth it. And I just think, like I said, this is the leakiest team. There's no way, as they're playing, they can win the Stanley Cup. So you are staring down the barrel, smiling with all your teeth at watching William Nylander leave for free, and that is the craziest fucking
his stack of cash on down the road, dude. See you later.
Like when you lose in the first or second round, and then Willie Nylander goes like that, I just had a 125-point season, and he goes like this, I'm leaving, by the way. Because because so and so is offering me 11.5 a year.
Yep. I'm not there yet, but that's the Nylander thing is all correct, and the Leafs overall, I'm not there yet, but it's a massive concern. I'm ignoring the Oilers are underperforming. There's some bad shit. The Lightning are underperforming for me, only because, like I said last week, they're getting good goalie play. I was worried they would have bad goalie play till Vasi came back, so I wouldn't really care that they were 6-5-4, because I was like, once they get Vasi back, they are getting good goalie play right now. So I'm like, oh, you need to be a little bit better than you are. And I'm not. We joked last week too that they don't care about seeding or anything like that. But I'm like, you're not very good right now. Like you're not even a playoff team right now.
You know who's not? Victor Hedman.
Yeah.
We ranked Victor Hedman very high, and some people were like, Hedman's not that good anymore. And we were like, dude, 2 seasons ago, he had 82 points.
Yeah.
Dude, Victor Hedman is such a weapon. It's unbelievable.
Capitals overperforming for me, just because I thought they were trash.
Especially with Backstrom out.
Yeah, I was like, you guys are awful.
I told you were not considering some of their guys coming back into the lineup, but Backstrom is gone.
They didn't even come back, yeah.
But they're doing what I thought they would do, but without Backstrom, so I can't take credit.
Yeah, right, fair. Buffalo is, unfortunately, looks exactly the same as last year.
I know.
Exactly the same. And I'm like,
you know what?
I need a little bump.
Levi. And thank God for UPL, because if UPL wasn't playing as well as he is, they would have a lot more losses. But they're doing that same trick-or-treat thing, dude, where they're getting monster wins and then just losing 4-0 to teams they have no business losing to.
Yep.
So yeah.
And the last one I'll hit you with to actually, I mean, because like I think the Yotes, the Ducks, they've been really fun. The Habs, like these teams are overperforming.
Yotes, Ducks, Habs, all
that's awesome.
Yeah.
The Spunk are spunkless right now, and we're figuring it out. This one though, the Wild, are a bad hockey.
They're a big
right
problem,
now. And I'm like,
my two quote unquote underperforming in the West that I wanted to bring up was the Wild and the Preds.
Yeah.
But the Preds, people forget that Trotz just came in.
yeah,
You know, the Dutchy Exodus thing, the Joey Exodus thing is like they're kind of rebuilding.
Yep.
So I give them a bit of a pass. Minnesota, you are underperforming.
Oh, dude, and
I think Wild fans feel it. Wild fans are so nice and so positive and just
like, oh,
so happy to watch hockey. But for the first time, we're seeing a lot of Wild fans in the DMs and the comments being like, "What the fuck is going on with the Wild?" And they're rightfully so.
And like I said, it's early till it isn't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you were in a hole.
Yeah. Wild, you got to pull up hard because this is crazy. The Ducks, dude, are quietly the youngest, funnest team in the
it's awesome. I thought the Yotes were America's team, and they might be, but it might be the Ducks.
It might be the Ducks, dude.
Yep.
The Ducks, the youth in Leo Carlson, who's so good.
Sick. Christ.
Minchikov,
Yep.
Terry, McTavish, Zegras.
Yep.
And Zegras will come good.
Mm-hmm.
He's hurt. He's hurt.
He's hurt. He's been hurt.
But God, is that a fun.
Yeah, they're sick.
That is a fun young five. So, wild stuff. Okay, we have made people wait long enough.
Yeah.
Let's kick it to this unbelievable interview with one of the greatest beauties in the history of the NHL, American legend.
Enjoy.
Jeremy Roenick.
It is truly our honor to be joined by a 9-time All-Star, Canada Cup silver medalist, Olympic silver medalist, Boston native.
Yes, sir.
A guy with the 16th most game-winning goals in NHL history, which is a sick stat.
Yes, it is.
8th overall pick of the Chicago Blackhawks in the 88 draft, and the 3rd American ever to score 500 goals. Jeremy Roenick, welcome to the Empty Netters podcast.
Oof.
Pretty awesome, man. Great introduction. I feel good about myself again. That's awesome. Thanks, boys. I appreciate that.
Oh, dude, we're pumped to have you. JR, we have, I know you're in a rush, but we've got a ton that we want to talk about. And I need to jump into right off the bat. I think, obviously, huge fan of you for a billion reasons. Without a doubt, the thing that stands out most to me is your acumen with pranks. And we've heard all the stories. The pranks are unbelievable. But I want to talk about quickly, I know you've told the story about the Torrey Mitchell prank, but can you tell me quickly, when did you start getting into pranks? When did you want to do stuff like this? And with that one specifically, how in the world did you get in touch with the people of Prank Encounters?
Scare tactics.
Or scare tactics. Scare tactics to like make that happen.
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, pranks have been going on in the locker rooms for, since you were a kid, right? So I was always a prankster and getting pranked on and throwing pranks left and right. It was never a day you didn't go into the locker room where you didn't have to have your head on a swivel looking to see what somebody was going to do to you, whether jump out of the locker and scare the hell out of you or put baby powder in the hair dryer, after a shower, and it just ends up all over you. Just so many different things that happen. So for me, pranking was a big part of being a team, right? And pranking guys and sharing those experiences with guys. And, obviously just coming to the last part of my career, and the last one that I did with Torrey Mitchell, where I did hire scare tactics. I had a friend who actually worked in the same production studio as Scare Tactics, and I was a big fan of their show, and I got a hold of them, and we figured out of this lengthy prank that took a couple months to get ready for. And I mean, it was a big dealing. I mean, they really it was a big production.
Yeah.
And to scare an NHL hockey player enough to have him jump out a double pane window through metal blinds, like literally jump through metal blinds, knowing there's a window on the other side. I think that's the epitome of the perfect and best prank of all time. And then Scare Tactics was great in terms of their realism, how scary the whole situation was, the house, the actors that came involved.
Yeah.
My GM didn't like it too much because, obviously he would have liked it a lot more if Torrey didn't jump out a window, but it turned out that he survived the jump, ended up in Wayne Newton's llama pen and escaped the man-eating cannibals that were coming after him.
How many days went by before Torrey spoke to you again? That's my biggest question.
No, he was fine. I mean, he was shaken.
He was thrilled you were alive, dude.
No question.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of, I'm sure, going through his head, and we talked about it and we all laughed. And, the bad thing that happened to Torrey is a week later in camp, he broke his leg majorly in a scrimmage game in practice, and literally was probably the start to the end of his career because he broke his leg so bad that it took him 6-7 months really to get back from that.
Shit.
So that was the worst part that happened to Torrey in that year.
Are you now that you've retired and you're not in the locker room vibe, did you hang up the pranks, or are you still Prank Sinatra? Like, is everyone's head on a swivel when you're around, or what?
I still got my family. I still got my family and friends. So every year I go on a golf trip with 16 of my closest friends. We do a Ryder Cup either in Pebble Beach. This year we're doing it at Diamante in Cabo. And
amazing.
There always seems to be a lot of pranks happening during that time too. But the pranks are great. Like, I play pranks on my son. I play pranks on my wife. I play pranks on my friends, and they do it back. And it's a form of love, I guess you can say.
Yeah, it's the best.
That's your love language.
I'm
gonna
keep my head on a swivel next time we're all in the same place, though. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so JR, you had some epic stops in your career. One thing I actually love about your career when I look at it is I feel like there are 3 teams, Flyers, Coyotes, Hawks, that all kind of claim you as their own, right? You had such an impact on those fan bases. And of course, you were a Shark and a King too. So can you hit us with maybe some superlatives of what batch of teammates, was the most intense? What batch was the funniest? What batch was the biggest gamblers? Because you were in so many cool places.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Chicago definitely was, I had the best kind of support system. You're the first team, you're young, guys like Dennis Savard, Steve Larmer, Doug Wilson, Keith Brown, all these guys that I grew up with, Steve Thomas, they were such a good support system to me and taught me so much about the game on the ice, the game off the ice. They taught me how to play poker. Yeah. And, obviously they taught me how to play bad poker so they could take my
those
money.
bastards.
That's how they rolled. But, that was a great team. And obviously to go to the finals in 1992, winning 11 straight in that playoff year and then losing to Pittsburgh in 4 straight was pretty demoralizing. So Chicago you're always going to have a very strong, passionate love and bond to a team that drafts you. So Chicago is like, I was there 9 years. That was my best years of my career. And obviously I have something that's what is lifelong connection with Chicago. Philly is another one that I was only there for 3 years playing and then the lockout year, but it's amazing how close and what kind of relationship and how we bonded so much between myself and the fans in Philly. There's not a place that I don't go in the world where I don't meet a Philly fan and they don't, I hug every single Philly fan that I see, because the way that they embraced me in Philly was like, I don't think like anybody else in such a short period of time, and brought me on as one of their own. Because listen, I played the game like they cheered the game.
Yeah,
right. They're crazy. They're a crazy bunch of fans, and they're loyal, and they want hard work, and they want blood, and they want wins, and that's what I wanted. So, and I think they saw the fact that I really tried hard for them and really wanted to bring a championship to that team and to that city. And I think that 2004 team that I was on was the best team that I've ever been a part of, and the best talented team that I've ever seen. I mean, we had Mark Recchi and John LeClaire and Tony Amonte, Alex Shamnoff, myself. We had Simone Gagne. We had Eric Desjardins. We had Eric Weinrich. We had a bomb of a team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we just had too many injuries and ended up losing in 7 games to Tampa. But I think that was my best chance of winning the cup. And Arizona was a fun place to live. fun place to have my kids, raise my kids. We had good teams in the beginning, but that organization has really not done a very good job with their ownership and making the right plays. I think as owners and GMs and building a team and spending money, they've done a terrible job at that. Now they're playing in a college rink, and they're playing well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They're playing well, but that literally they seem like it's more like a AHL team more so than an NHL team.
Honestly, it feels like they're in this like weird limbo state where they're not actually part of the league. That's such a good point. Look, we talked about it at the beginning, and you just kind of touched on it. You obviously had one of the greatest NHL careers of all time. But I love the way that you talk about the Olympics. And I feel like that 2002 Olympic run was such an exciting time. You obviously win your group, then you go on, you have the tuck against Germany, then you guys beat Russia, and then you end up winning the silver medal playing against Canada. Can you tell us what it was about the Olympics that you loved so much and that made it such a special time, and then maybe any stories that really stick out in your mind in those Olympics specifically?
Yeah, well, the Olympics is, I think there's a reason why people like me and my generation wanted to be NHL players or wanted to play hockey, is because we remember what happened in 1980 with the Miracle team.
Definitely.
You know, winning that gold medal was probably one of the biggest upsets in all of sports history. And at 10 years old, that made such an impact on my life and such an impact on what I wanted to do. And it was the same for Chris Chelios, the same for Tony Amonte, Mike Modano, Keith Tkachuk, Doug Wade, Billy Guerin, all these guys that really built hockey in the U.S. to be a powerhouse. And, because we were always in the 80s, early 80s, we were always 6th and 7th in all the international tournaments, right? I mean, we just weren't very good as a nation. And then all of a sudden in 1996, we win the Canada, what's now the World Cup, right? Mm-hmm. So when we beat Canada, that put America on the map. And to have the opportunity to play in the Olympics and to represent your country and wear your country's colors, having people chant USA. I mean, I'm such a passionate America guy. I'm such a passionate military guy. I love my country, probably to a fault. So to be able to play for your country and be one of 20 people that play on the team in the Olympics, the biggest stage in the world of sports, and to be able to get to a final and meet your arch rival, your bitter arch rival, and your, obviously country neighbors, Canada's game, hockey is Canada's game, playing Canada in the final of the biggest stage in the world on home turf. And still, even though we lost, it was probably the greatest thing I've ever experienced in sports.
Fuck yeah, man.
Incredible.
I have chills.
Yeah, same. My God.
It's so true. It's such a real feeling of how jacked up that is. God.
And JR, you talk about being a kid and watching Miracle on Ice and everything, and we are actually Boston boys too, and all three of us are New England prep school guys.
Yes, sir.
So we're a couple cake eaters. Dan went to Andover.
What schools? Yeah. What schools?
I went to Andover. Chris went to Exeter.
Yeah, so
awesome.
We're the cake eaters.
That's where my brother lives in Exeter. He lives about half a mile from the school, so I've been there many, many times.
Oh, hell yeah.
Andover's a good school, and that whole league was a lot of fun growing up. I mean, Thayer Academy at the time, we were independent school league, just powerhouses, and myself and Tony Amonte playing on the same line, pretty much ripped up that league. Yeah, and probably played in. We probably played in the biggest prep school game and most watched prep school game in the history of high school hockey. And that was in the finals of the ISL championships in '85, where we played Avon Old Farms, and Brian Leach was on that team. And I remember every single 500 people in the stands and probably 400 were scouts, which we won 6-4. It was a pretty epic game.
That's unbelievable. I think you had 84 points in 24 games in your final season. How did you deal with like was Thayer strict when you were there? Like how did you balance?
I know you're not a big school guy, JR. So how did you survive the rigors of New England prep?
It was. Let's just say I had to manipulate my grades a little bit to continue playing.
Yeah, dude, we've all been there, dude. Yeah,
it was a good school. It was a good school. It was a big sports school, right? So our headmaster was a big hockey fan. our coach was the football coach and the hockey coach, and I wanted to play football, but he wouldn't let me play football until I asked him if I could kick field goals, because he used to be a soccer player. So he let me kick field goals because he didn't want me to get hurt for the hockey season. So it was a fun time. High school was fun. I only went 3 years of high school, then I left and turned pro. But those were 3 good years at Thayer.
Yeah, which was unheard of back then, by the way.
Yeah.
You just getting drafted right out of Thayer. That was insane.
Unheard of. Well, first of all, getting a U.S. high school player drafted in the first round, not let alone the top 10, was unheard of. And I was only 155 pounds.
So crazy.
So I was very small, very light, but I was fast and I had an attitude. So that got me kind of past my weight issue. I
mean, I remember when I was at Andover, I was classmates with and teammates with Chris Kreider, and when he was drafted right out of Andover, the comparisons immediately were like, it is very rare getting drafted right out of the New England prep in high school, even now. But
it's even more rare to leave high school and just make that jump right to pro.
What a fucking legend, dude. Unbelievable. Want to talk about another legend. Joe Thornton retired this year. We know you played with Joe towards the end of the career. Do you have any, with Joe retiring and finally officially hanging him up, do you have any great memories or stories of Joe and your relationship with him?
Too many to count. Joe was actually going to be the next on my list to scare on that scare tactics episode. So because Tori jumped out the window, Joe got spared.
Wow, he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know the price he almost paid.
Well, he knows now, and he said, thank goodness he didn't happen, because he would have died of a heart attack right on the spot. But Joe is one of the greatest teammates in the history of sports. I make this comment. I don't think there's ever been a teammate that I've ever seen or even known that every single player on the team, if you ask them who their favorite teammate is, they'd say Joe Thornton. I mean, right across the board, every single one. And that's a very, very tough thing to achieve as a teammate. Joe was always the guy that brought everybody together. Was always the guy with the smile on his face, always bringing energy, always bringing, some sort of enthusiasm to the locker room. But also, when we weren't playing well, he stood up and he bitched right in your face, and he called you out. He was an amazing leader and one of the best players that I've ever played with, probably the best playmaker I've ever seen behind Wayne Gretzky. So, and I know that's saying something.
Yeah,
Joe Thornton, that guy, and by the way, it was never a job for Joe. It was never a job.
God,
I love him. I love him more than life itself, and I let him know that. And just the way you see him on his videos, or even just his retirement video, he's just so bubbly. He's just so fun, and he just loved to go to the rink every day. And he made everybody happy there.
Yeah. It's so cool to hear that he could get intense, because we always see the bubbly side, right? Like it's awesome to hear that he'll let you have it in the locker room.
Don't get on his bad side.
Yeah.
Don't get on his bad side, because he'll rip. He'll let it rip. He had no problem with calling people out in the locker room.
See, to me, that's the best kind of guy, because he cares. That's passion. If you love the game as much as he seems to.
Well, that's gone now.
Yeah.
Well, that's gone now.
True.
Right. So
true.
I really don't hear of players, really carving other players in the locker room and holding them accountable verbally and harshly. Too many feelings to be hurt. We need safe spaces now. We need safe spaces and quiet places so we don't get offended.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
It's ridiculous. Honestly.
Agree.
Yeah, we need more Joes in the league.
Yes.
True.
Obviously, JR, we were of the age where we were NHL 94 disciples, right? So I've heard your epic stories about, you get the shout out in Swingers, so fucking cool. Yeah, and I heard that you got to meet Vince. So I was wondering, do you still talk to him?
I do. Every once in a while I see him, but it was funny because I didn't know that they were using that segment in Swingers. I'm just watching the movie and I saw it just like everybody else. I had no idea. I said, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. It's like I'm part of pop culture now, And 94 Sega is the one thing that people talk to me about the most. It's what I'm most famous for. It's like everywhere I go that people talk about, you're one of the best gamers in the history of gamers and couldn't be stopped. And I was literally in LA and I walked into a bar and saw Vince standing against the wall. And I walked over to him and I introduced myself, and he says, and he gave me that look. Are you kidding me? You don't have to introduce yourself to me, man. And he's like the biggest fan, and I thanked him for putting me in the movie. He's like,
dude, it's funny because that is, it's a classic movie.
Yeah.
And that is easily a top 3 most famous scene from the movie. So yeah, that will live throughout the annals of history. It's unbelievable.
Well, you guys should go on YouTube and see. I recreated that scene for Fox at one point, and I was working for Fox, and it's a really good scene. You can go on YouTube and find it. It's really a funny.
100%. We're gonna link that up.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. All right, so we had Chelly on a little while ago, and we did this to him, so we got to put you through the ringer now as well. We were talking about the Olympics and some of your iconic U.S. teammates and guys who came before you. If you had right now on the spot to list your top 5 U.S. hockey players all time, who makes that list? And obviously we know you're on it, so you can count yourself as number 1.
Yeah, no, Mike Modano to me is number 1.
There you go.
Chris Chelios would be number 2. Yeah, so Mike Modano, Chris Chelios. I'm going to put Keith Kachuk up there also. Brian Leach is on there. And obviously Patrick Kane near the end of his career. You got to put Patrick Kane up there. But the guy who's going to go down as the best goal scorer in U.S. history, Austin Matthews, will be the highest goal scorer in American history, without question, without a doubt. That's how good he is of a goal scorer. So, I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, I didn't even talk about John LeClaire. Didn't even talk about Mike Richter. Didn't even talk about Billy Guerin. Some of the most iconic players of all time. Tony Amonte. Tony Amonte doesn't get enough credit for how good of a career he had. 420 goals of some sort. I mean, he was just awesome.
Couldn't agree more.
And a great teammate. He was by far my soulmate of line mates. So
wow, love that.
God, we can just go on and on of American guys. My generation was real special as U.S. hockey players go.
Yeah, and it looks good too, eh?
God,
the current U.S. roster looks super competitive. For the first time in maybe ever, you're going toe to toe, just on paper, talent wise, with Canada.
Yeah. We need that Olympic matchup so desperately.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to watch U.S. Junior every December.
Yeah,
and watch Canada and the fans literally freak and panic when U.S. comes onto the ice because they know they can get beat very easily at any time.
No, that's true.
I love that. Okay, I want to ask you about Bedard, JR. He on your pod, which we'll talk about in a second, but on your pod a week or two ago, he was through 6 or 7 games. He had 2-2, and you and Peelsy were talking. I think you gave him a C, but he's got 9-4 now, 13-13. So. Do you want to reassess your grade? Because he's got so much hype, so much pressure. Yeah. He's a small kid, smaller kid.
My grade, what I gave him at the time was absolutely dead on.
I agree.
I could have given him a little bit less.
Yeah.
Could have given him a little bit less. You don't go 2 games with no shots, no points, -2 and under 50% in faceoffs. I mean, he pretty much wasted 2 games, which is not his fault. He's young. That's okay. Now, you see what has kind of happened over the last 2 weeks. The media has kind of let him go. And I was yelling at the media, telling him, leave this kid alone. Don't put so much pressure on this kid.
Totally.
Let him feel his way through the league. Let him have some fun, learning the game and the pace of the game. Don't put so much pressure on him in the first 10 games of his career. He scored his first goal, and on television they put "Chasing Greatness," Gretzky 984, Bedard 1. Are you kidding me? The stupidity of the media.
Yeah.
And so now the media's left him alone a little bit. They're not talking about him every single day. He's not on the front cover at NHL.com every single day. I mean, he is still big when he goes to different cities, but I think the pressure from the media has kind of settled down, and he's starting to feel better about the speed. He's starting to understand it. He's having fun. And look what happens. The media leaves him alone, and he's playing loose. He's playing with a great deal of confidence. He's scoring goals. Right now he's an A+. So yeah, it's a different time right now, and the media finally gave him some space, and he's showing why I said that they should just leave this kid alone and let him grow. He's going to be a superstar. I mean, he might be a superstar now, but he's going to be a superstar. He just needs to grow into it, but he has to enjoy that. And the media could really take away that fun by putting all this pressure on him. And I think they've done a good job of leaving him alone in the past couple weeks.
Yeah, he's been given a chance to breathe, a chance to settle in, and you can see he's getting way more comfortable with his game. It's unbelievable.
What's a good number for him this year, JR? Like he finishes, this many goals, this many points.
So I think he was going to score 30 goals, and I put him at 80 points. So I'm hoping that I'm pretty close to being right. It's all going to depend on his teammates and his line mates.
Yep.
His line mates have to play good hockey and have to bring up some slack for him and help him along the way, because he can't do it by himself.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I put the over under 79.
Yeah, you did.
It's beautiful. All right, we only got a few minutes, so we want to close them out with pass, shoot, score.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, JR, this is a game we play with all of our guests. It's basically just a ranking system. We're going to pick some things that we know that you like and you care about, and you got to rank them 1 to 3. So pass, shoot, score. Pass, obviously great, like snapping the puck around. Shooting is a little bit better, and then scoring the ultimate goal. So score will be your top choice. So we're going to start you off with some Arizona dining. Pass, shoot, score. Sushi brokers. Maybe get some nice tuna there.
Definite score. Definite score.
Well,
my number one favorite.
Not
sushi
even
place
let
in
me
the world.
finish. The other two are Spiga, some Italian, and then JJ's Deli.
Oh, are you kidding me? All of my favorites. Listen, all of them are major scores. Major scores. Especially sushi and JJ's. The best bagel on the planet from JJ's. It's great.
I love it. Okay, a hat trick on that one.
Yeah, I'll accept the hat trick.
I'll
there.
allow it. Okay.
But wait. At Spiga, is there a what's your go-to order? What's the best thing? If I ever make my way down there, what should I get?
You got to get the penne bolognese. Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful.
Very nice. Okay, JR, I'm calling this category bucket list stuff. So I'm snapping my little magic wand, and I get to give you this achievement in your life, okay? Pass, shoot, score.
Yep.
Playing a round of golf at Augusta National with Freddie Couples, and you play great. Playing electric piano with Kid Rock while he headlines Coachella, or kicking the game-winning field goal for the Pats in the Super Bowl.
Kicking the Super Bowl winning field goal in the Super Bowl.
That's the winner
for New England.
I love that you mentioned that earlier.
Because I played Augusta.
Oh,
I played Augusta, just not with Freddie Couples.
Yep.
But Freddie's a good friend of mine, so that could happen.
Yep.
As far as Kid Rock, I don't play the piano, which is kind of crazy, but I love Kid Rock. He's a good friend of mine. So that possibly could happen too. I could pretend to play the piano in one of his concerts.
Yeah.
And I did, and I was a kicker, in high school.
Yeah, so
and I was
crazy.
a soccer player and kicked a lot of field goals. And
not enough people know that.
I just don't think that the Patriots are going to.
Oh, dude, we're so bad.
I don't think the Patriots are going to hire me for a game, especially the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so that is a good bucket.
Is it true? Is it true you were
Super
better?
Bowl, the Super Bowl would be my score.
Is it true you were better at soccer than hockey when you were younger?
I was.
God, it's so crazy.
I was. It was my number one sport. Yeah.
I love that. All right, your final pass shoot
no
score.
future in it though, fellas.
Yeah, you're damn right.
That ship might have sailed. All right, your final pass shoot score. We're taking it to golf. We know that you've played. All of you played in Ireland, Scotland, Thailand, crazy places. I think you were just playing in Puerto Rico. But pass shoot score ranking these courses: Pebble Beach. I know you love that one. Whisper Rock, maybe the hometown one, and then Willow Bend Golf Club on Cape Cod. I know that one's special to you because you got a couple aces there.
Yeah, I have a couple aces in both places. I have two at Willow Bend and two at Whisper Rock.
What?
Two of my favorite golf courses. Whisper Rock is like the Augusta of the West. So, but Pebble Beach is my favorite golf destination on the planet.
Still.
Wow, damn, love that.
And I've been all over the world, and it's still Pebble is still my favorite.
Yeah, you have four
Big
aces.
Score for Pebble.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's.
I have four aces, but I also have 3 hole in threes. So
because you went water first.
I knocked them in the jar for pars. Yeah, water first, re-teed, and knocked the third one in.
Incredible. Wait, how many of those do you have?
3, I think. He's
3.
Okay, so really 7, dude. Not too shabby, man. The game's looking good.
Yep.
All right. Well, before we let you go, JR, is there anything you want to pitch? I know that you got Snipes and Stripes going on. Is there anything you want to talk about that? Maybe your whiskey brand that's going on?
Yeah, tell
What's
us about
going on
it.
in your life?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific, on nofilter.net, Snipes and Stripes with my good buddy Tim Peel, who is next NHL referee. Yeah, so we give great perspective. So nofilter.net, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Me and Tim Peel, Snipes and Stripes, a lot of fun. And actually, we bring on the fans onto the show too, so you get to join the show by a little knock on the computer screen. And then my whiskey, which sponsors our show, is Whiskey in the Wild, whiskeyinthewild.com. It's a chocolate and chocolate orange whiskey that will absolutely knock you off of your socks. You'll never taste anything better in your mouth when it comes to alcohol.
I mean, that is I've said this a million times, my favorite dessert on earth is Terry's chocolate orange.
Oh, okay.
So a chocolate orange infused whiskey, I can't think of anything better.
JR, where can you get the whiskey?
I love it. I'm out in the nice Arizona. I mean, the San Diego weather.
Oh my
God! It was
God!
great being with you guys. Unfortunately, I got to go to a doctor appointment to check on my head.
Get in there, JR.
Concussions to see if my brain's still in there. So.
Yeah, no, you got to take care of it.
You guys have been awesome, man. I really enjoyed being with you guys.
You too, JR. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
See you, bud.
Later, brother. Huge thank you to JR.
Dude.
I've got a feeling that's going to be a friend of the program.
Yeah, oh my God. And what a pleasure that was for me. He is just an absolute legend in life and legend of the game. I cannot thank him enough for his time. Just an all-time bucket list moment.
All time. Can't wait to see more of JR, but that was as good as it gets. All right, let's close out the episode like we always do. Let's get into hottest teams. Okay. Hottest teams.
I'm going to start.
Oh, you're going to start.
Is it my turn? I can't remember.
Yeah, why don't you start?
So 3, this could easily be the Rangers, but, we've stroked you guys off enough this week. We stroked you off in the hottest teams last week. So this week, we're going number 3.
We're just going to say, Rangers, you're hot.
You're hot. You're hot. Chill. You're hot. You're 11-2. This week, with 3 straight wins, the Dallas Stars, my Dallas Stars, some might say. They're dominating the Central Division so far, which has been awesome. They beat the Blue Jackets 5-2, the Jets 3-2, and then they beat the Wheels off the struggling Wild 8-3. Stars look scary.
Yes, they do. Second hottest team of the week is the Florida Panthers, winners of 4 in a row. They beat the Blue Jackets in OT, the Capitals in OT, the Canes 5-2, and the Connor Bedards 4-3. Panthers, very quietly, very, very good. Second place in the Atlantic right now.
Way faster than I thought it was going to happen.
Sam Reinert, scorching.
Yeah.
Scorching. One of the league leaders.
Yeah. And then number 1, the Penguins of Pittsburgh. They're on a 4-game heater because they went to California and swept the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Pummeled the Stars 10-2, beat the Ducks 2-0, and beat the Kings 4-3 in a fantastic game that we were at with a double OT goal.
Yeah. Not, and by that he doesn't mean 2 OTs because that's not a thing. He means there were 2 goals in OT.
Yep.
Offsides, but then Rusty just picked up the puck and scored again.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Then after California, they went home, had a statement win 4-0 against the Sabres. They're moving up the leaderboard. Thank God. About time. Hottest team of the week.
Before we get into the other things, can I rant real quick?
Sure.
Today on Instagram, the Canes posted their jerseys.
Yeah.
The Cooperalls, right?
Yep.
They're doing the Whalers jerseys with the pants. They don't play in those pants, do they?
I think they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of fun.
I think.
I can't remember.
They definitely warm up, and I think they play.
I think they do, you're right.
Yep.
I'm not sure.
Me neither, but I think they do.
This is bullshit. I for a while I was kind of like, whatever. I'm officially fed up. This is stolen valor. Carolina Hurricanes, you are not allowed to wear the Hartford Whalers uniforms. It's insane, dude. It's literally just the Hartford Whaler uniforms, and that is such a beloved team. And the people of Hartford, like they feel like they got their team ripped out of their hands and moved to fucking Carolina. And now you parade yourself around as if that's part of your history. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a different franchise. They're some of the coolest uniforms and jerseys in the NHL's history. You are not allowed to do this anymore. I've had it, and I'm saying you're not allowed. I'm putting my foot down. The Canes can no longer wear those Whalers uniforms.
Dude, the Tennessee Titans were just wearing the Houston Oilers jerseys, which are also some of the most iconic in the sport, and everyone's having the same conversation.
It's bullshit, dude. You can't
do this.
You're
right. I was kind of like, no, dude. It's like they were that. They moved, and it's retro, but it does suck for the fans.
And it's not retro.
Yeah,
you're just taking another team. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
It would be like if the Jets started wearing Thrashers jerseys. Like, it's just stupid. Stop it.
Okay.
Because
I agree.
The way they parade it around as if it's as if it's their own.
They rub it in their
They're going
face.
like this.
Yeah.
Check this shit out. Like we're throwing it old school here, and I'm like, no, you're a thief. You broke into someone's home and stole their shit, and now you're wearing it.
Yeah, and then putting it on Instagram for them to like it.
Stop it. Okay, let's get into Toff Watch.
Yep.
How's our boy doing?
Toff has 8 goals and 6 assists for 14 points in 13 games. We love the pace. We love the pace, Dan. We don't love the -5, and we don't love the Devils' record.
Yeah, talk about underperforming teams.
Yep.
We're going to give them a pass because Nico and Jack are out, but going to need the D to tighten up.
They've lost.
Need the goaltending to
They've lost 2 straight, but he has 3 points in those 2 games. Let's get some dubs. Let's get some dubs, boys.
I said he's going to pick up the slack, and he did.
Yep.
Friend of the pod goals. We got a goal from Toff.
Yep.
Goal from Morsey. Goal from PLD. 2 goals from Dutchie. 2 goals from Fance. And you know who scored a goal, I believe, last night, or maybe the night before? Fabro.
Oh, yeah. Up to 40 on the year.
41.
No, 40. I had his tallied.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yep.
40 on the year. Keep it up, boys. Let's close it out with games to watch and let these people get on their way.
Definitely watch the Global Series in Sweden all week. Then I'm going Thursday, Yotes at Blue Jackets, Cooley at Fantilli. Love that. And then Saturday, give me Avs at Stars. Fucking tilt. Dallas trying to win that division.
Okay, I'm going to go Friday, Jersey matchup, my favorite Jersey matchup in the league. Toronto at Detroit.
Yes, it's in
identical
Sweden.
Records, time of recording.
In Sweden, yep.
8-5-2, that is in Sweden. That is one of those Global Series games. Absolutely love it. And then Saturday, which one did you just do?
Avs at Stars.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, I have to do it. My Saturday game to watch, Rangers at Devils. I love that matchup.
Great.
Just go across the river, pop into Hoboken.
Yeah.
What is it? What's it called? The Brian. What's that? The train or the tunnel that goes from
under the river,
Hoboken to New York.
The Lincoln Tunnel.
Well, it's like a train though. Like I get on a little.
It's called like the line or the loop. It's not the loop. Is it the loop?
Maybe the path.
The path. It's called the path.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The path. Yeah.
Like
Rangers at Devils. I love it. All right. Unbelievable episode. We hope you guys had as much fun as we did. Unreal games to watch. Global Series. If you're in Boston, Worcester, get the Almost Friday beer. Comes out this Friday, the 17th. And until next time,
skate hard.